Welcome, everybody, to Pointless Conversations with your host, Jesse, and my co host, Johnny and Megan.
Yoo-hoo!
Yay! This is our first episode.
Hi, everyone.
And hopefully not our last. So, we're going to talk about Megan went to Costa Rica recently.
I did. And it was amazing, and I got engaged, and it was wonderful. Highly recommend going.
She did not commit any crimes while she was away.
Except for feeding maybe a monkey, but that's fine.
Okay, she committed one crime. She committed one crime. I thought she was going to take over a cartel, but she didn't.
It was tempting.
It was tempting. They'll be like, oh, yeah, let's just give all the drugs to the short girl. Anyways, and then we have Johnny here.
Hi.
Hi.
What's it called?
You're my coworker.
I'm also a pet drug dealer.
Oh,
She
cool.
I'm the pharmacist.
By profession. It's on her W-2s.
All opinions that are not part of this corporation. Anyways, we're gonna talk about Ahsoka that I saw yesterday.
No spoilers.
I know I'm not gonna talk about spoilers, but what we're gonna talk about is you are fairly new to Star Wars.
Mhm.
When did you start watching it?
I would say like a year ago.
A year ago.
So it's been a
And
year.
you've seen mostly everything.
Yeah, I saw all
Mostly
of the Mandalorian and all of the movies.
Yes.
Like the main trilogy movies.
Good. And you
I've seen
have
absolutely
not seen
nothing.
any of it.
Nothing!
So everything I'm going to talk about is literally going to be like, what?
Basically.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So what so I'm going to talk about the episode I saw last night, but I'm going to give like context to the stuff that was on the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a TV show called Rebels that this new series is almost like a season 5. It's almost like a season 5. And Ahsoka was introduced in the Clone Wars and was a major character in that series. She got very, very popular, and that's the reason why she got her own live action series. And I just hit the mic. And the episode, there's a lot of really good episodes of the Clone Wars that she was in. And when she first was introduced, people did not like her.
Oh, really?
Oh. She was hated, like, immediately.
Did she get introduced first in the cartoon?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She was never part of the movies. She's only been in animation, and she's only been... This is her first live action as a TV show.
Okay.
So, but when she was first introduced, she was not popular. People hated her. But then, as the seasons of Clone Wars progressed, there was character development and things that happened, and she got really popular to the point where now she has her own show. So I really like her character. I think she's like one of the best like female characters in Star Wars. It's just my opinion. And the last season of Clone Wars is like masterpiece. It's so freaking good. You have to watch it.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
You have to at least, if you don't see all 7, I think, seasons of Clone Wars, you have to at least see the final episodes, because it does kind of get into what was happening in the movies. So, if you don't know, Johnny, there's a thing that happens in the movies. Megan knows.
Okay.
There's a thing called Order 66. Order 66 that happens in the movies, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
The final seasons of Clone Wars, like the final 2 or 3, I think, that's happening simultaneously. So while Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting on Volcano Mountain, on a volcano planet, Ahsoka's dealing with her own thing during Order 66 at the same time. So when you're watching those episodes, it will be simultaneously.
Okay.
Because you're gonna hear like certain things, like Obi-Wan's going this way or that way, and then when Order 66 happens, you know what happens,
Mhm.
and Ahsoka has to deal with that kind of stuff. I know.
Murder.
Yes,
Murder.
a lot of murder happens, a lot.
I love murder. Murder's great.
Mhm.
And then we transition away from Clone Wars. That finishes, right? And then Rebels starts, and it's like 4 seasons, and she pops up a couple times. Spoiler alert, there's a fight between her and her former apprentice, Vader, and that's like one of the best episodes ever.
Mhm.
And then we get to present time with her new series. So I'm going to talk about that now.
Okay, but no spoilers.
No spoilers. So the Ahsoka series literally starts several years after Rebels, and the most of the main cast is still like around, but certain, not trying to get to spoilers, but certain characters are not around anymore for reasons.
Do you see the Mandalorian?
What the?
Do you see the Mandalorian?
in episode 1, did you see Mando?
No,
Oh, okay, never mind.
but she has been on Mando.
No, yeah, she's on Mando, but I just
No,
wanted to know if he
he's
made an
not-
appearance.
No.
Did he make a cameo? Baby Yodes? Did he show
No.
up?
Baby
But
Yoda.
one of the
Damn.
characters in the show is a Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
So she is called Sabine Wren,
Mhm.
and she's a Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she's a Mandalorian. So that there's some Mandalorian connection there, and she's an artist.
Hey,
Hey,
what's up?
yeah. She
Commission
does
me,
like
no.
she does like
Nonchalant
like
plug.
graffiti art, and she does because she has an actual helmet, and she has like a Mandalorian helmet,
Mhm.
and she like decorates it, and it has like she does graffiti art and that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And later
Gonna
she
be one of
tries
my
to
favorites.
she tries to be a Jedi because she's kind of force sensitive.
A Mandalorian that's force sensitive? Oh.
Yeah.
That's
think-
different.
The most interesting thing to me in this conversation is that I have heard of all of these names and terms before, but I have no idea what they mean. So it's just like, oh yes, this
Yeah.
makes sense, but what?
So the first episode was 2 episodes. It was like back-to-back episodes, so it's like an hour.
Mhm.
So pretty much, I like the episode. Without giving too much details, I like the episode. But it felt like a lot of recap of what happened in the previous series. So if you haven't seen Rebels, you might be like slightly confused.
Got it.
Because there's certain characters that will mention, there's certain events that happen. There's a major villain that they mention, but if you haven't seen Rebels, it's going to be meaningless.
Mm.
So that's but I liked it. I just felt that the pacing was a little bit slow.
Oh, really? Slow? Mm.
Yeah. Again, it's because they were recapping, trying to catch up people who didn't see Rebels.
Yeah, I could imagine a lot of first episodes would be slow.
Yeah.
So that's not surprising.
But I recommend Rebels. I feel like if you have to watch something to watch Ahsoka, you should watch Rebels.
Okay.
I mean, Clone Wars can help, but Ahsoka's not in every episode of the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
So you could probably go on Disney Plus and find like Ahsoka like essential episodes and just watch those, because I think they have a category of that. Or you can just go to Rebels. She's not the main character in Rebels. She just kind of shows up in a couple. So it might take a couple episodes to get to her. But it's a good show. I recommend it. It's only 4 seasons.
Only 4.
Only 4 seasons.
Because
Only
there's like
4.
God only knows how many
Yeah.
movies and.
Oh, so
Yeah.
many.
Okay, I'm gonna move on because if I talk anymore, it's gonna be spoilers. And you haven't seen it yet. So
Yep, no spoilers.
the next thing we're gonna talk about, and you guys are gonna participate in this, is the top 10 greatest Disney animated movies of all time. And this is just our opinion. This is not. it's more like what's our favorite, not necessarily what's considered like
Yeah.
all time like whatever classics or whatever, because people have their favorites and some people might say, oh, why didn't you include this? These are
Mhm.
just my personal favorites, Megan's personal favorites, and Johnny's. So who wants to go first?
Are we gonna do like each of our like number 10, each of our number 9, or we're just gonna do everybody's
We can
one person's
we
list?
can, yeah, I think we can do like, let's do like, I'll start then.
Okay.
I'll
Well, it's
do
up
my
to you.
I'll do my honorable mentions first.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do my honorable mentions, and I have a couple, and this one's gonna probably make you guys angry.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
What-
I feel like Megan's gonna not be happy.
Full disclaimer. I feel like we're all major Disney fans.
We
yes,
are.
I am. I've seen all of them,
Mhm.
so I have authority on this, and I keep hitting this thing. Little Mermaid is an honorable mention. I told
My heart.
I told
Damn.
you were gonna be upset.
Damn. You put the mermaids in honorable mentions?
I'm just gonna go right through all my honorable mentions,
All right.
and then you guys can go on yours.
Hit it.
So, Little Mermaid's one of them. They're right here. Oh, Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and
Okay.
Stitch is an honorable mention. I love that movie. It was hard for me not to put it on there because I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Tarzan is an honorable mention. I know. I'm already pissing Megan off.
Interesting
Oh my
choices.
gosh.
Interesting choices.
I'm sorry. What's the next one? See, I should have had my glasses.
God, right
I
there.
am legally blind.
I can't see without
I
my
can't
glasses,
see.
Fred. I need my glasses.
Tangled is an honorable mention.
Wow.
I know, I'm pissing
Every
you off
single
already.
one you've said is
Let's-
on my list.
Let's also put a disclaimer. I'm gonna say disclaimer because it's funny, not because it's actually a disclaimer. But Megan's wedding ring is.
Or engagement ring.
Oh my god.
Wedding ring?
I'm not wed
No,
yet.
Jesus
not yet.
Christ.
I meant engagement ring. Her engagement ring is Rapunzel,
Yeah,
Disney themed.
yeah, it is a Disney ring that's an engagement ring based off of
You just
Rapunzel.
got her married, like,
I-
right now.
Yeah.
No, man.
Pete's
I
not
mean,
Where's
even
Pete's,
here.
Pete's at work.
listen, dude. Pete and Megan are like
That's
my
not even a
OTP.
shot.
This is
Aw.
my.
This is not even a
favorite
shotgun
shit.
wedding. This is like, yeah, we got married on a
This
We
is
just
my
podcast.
eloped. We
favorite
didn't tell
shit ever.
anybody.
That's it. Those are my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
I have 2 honorable mentions, I think. Well, I had a tie between my last ones, but I'm gonna give one as the honorable mention was Encanto. Honorable mention.
Really?
Yeah. It almost made the list, but I couldn't
Really?
decide. And then The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I love that movie, but it did not make the list.
Really?
Yeah. It like I wanted to put it on the
Reasons.
list.
What is it that you like this movie though?
Love the movie.
But it didn't hit something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It just
You just think the other choices are better.
they just suit me more as like to be on my list.
You have better choices, you mean?
I guess so.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Johnny,
Okay.
your
Cool.
turn.
So I hope I'm close enough to this mic. I don't even know. So for my honorable mention, thank you. I have a couple. My first one has to be Dinosaur. I grew up with that movie, Dinosaur.
Really? That's an interesting choice because
It does hit the heart.
It does.
Yeah.
And
I don't even. The reason I say it's an interesting choice is because a lot of people don't remember that movie.
yeah, it's so many people. It breezes past them. They're like, it's
They
like
have-
an unlocked childhood memory.
They technically
when you
have an
bring it up.
attraction at Animal Kingdom,
They do.
Technically.
and people don't realize
Yeah.
when they go on the ride, they don't like. You mean this is based on that movie?
Mhm.
Because the only reference or the only thing that they have about that movie is
The dinosaur
The-
at the front, right?
what's the dinosaur's name? Aladar. Right?
Aladar.
Aladar.
Yeah, Aladar.
Aladar. Damn. Yeah. That's a
You
deep cut right
remembered
there.
that.
Yes. I told you I've seen every single
Uh-huh.
Disney movie. I'm not
That-
joking.
Was one of my faves growing up. It was actually my first impression of what dinosaurs were.
Really?
And
Not Jurassic Park?
not Jurassic Park.
Really?
I saw dinosaurs first, and then I saw The Land Before Time. So,
Land Before Time.
Mhm.
Not a Disney movie.
not a Disney movie.
It's a
no.
Universal movie.
Oh.
Yes.
But with dinosaur, I thought it was interesting. Sorry, technical difficulties. Everything's fine.
No, your hand was just
Um,
on it and it escaped me.
We'll edit this.
How they portrayed them. It wasn't something where it was only dinosaurs, only reptiles. It wasn't something where they were strictly animalistic. They completely humanized these creatures that most people would, like in Jurassic Park, would look at it and try to paint it as something terrifying and scary. And this was like, no, these were animals with feelings, just like the animals we have today. And this is the scary stuff that they most likely went through. My next honorable mention was Emperor's New Groove. Hilarious movie. We all love it. It's absolutely iconic. I just have, like Megan was saying before, ties to other movies
Yeah.
for my
Mhm.
list, but I had to give it
I was
honorable
thinking about
mention.
putting that on my honorable mentions too. It's just that I quote that movie way too often that it cannot not
Yeah.
be iconic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I talk way too much about that movie. Like I don't know
That
why.
movie, like something in that movie appears in my head like once a week.
I feel like if they did a Disney movie of me,
Mhm.
it would be in that style.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's like that's a good choice. It's not your top 10 though.
No,
So
it's not
obviously
my top
something
10.
is better than that, but
It's
it's
my-
still good. It was hard to do this list, by the way.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
It was.
It was not easy for
To
me.
pick
at all.
like a really bad Disney movie, like it's kind of hard because I can only
They're all
think of
good.
like 3 or 4
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
on the top of my head. A list for another day. Okay, continue.
Yes. With Emperor's New Groove, fun fact, the entire script was improv. Yes, there was a plot, but like a majority of it was them improvising, and
That's
so that's
great.
why they break the fourth wall so much.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason why I love it. And then Aristocats and 101 Dalmatians are my other
Good choices.
Mhm.
honorable mentions.
I would say 101 Dalmatians is slightly better than Aristocats.
Oh yeah.
And this is
Yes.
coming from a cat person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 101 Dalmatians just benefits. It's a better movie because the villain kind of elevates it to
Yeah.
being a better
Yeah,
movie. Because
yeah.
Cruella de Vil is so iconic as a Disney villain that
Mm-hmm.
the Aristocats doesn't have that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I like that movie, but the villain is so much lamer.
Yeah. It's
It's you really
It's
have to
just
think about like
it's a
who
butler,
was
right?
the villain? I don't know.
Edgar.
It was
Was it Edgar?
Yeah, it
the
was
butler.
it was a butler.
He was
Oh,
trying to get rid of the cats the whole time because he wanted I might be wrong, I haven't seen this movie in a while, but he wanted
He wanted the
the
inheritance.
inheritance, yeah.
And then he heard that the cats were gonna get it, and then he's like got mad and tried to like ditch the cats somewhere.
it's coming back to me now. But see, didn't make my top 10 because
then
it's
the
a little
irony
bit
of the
forgettable.
movie-
Versus
So
Cruella de Vil,
it's funny
super
because the movie
memorable.
literally ends where like, oh, if Edgar only knew, like he was part of the will because someone had to take care of the cats, so the cats.
Yeah.
So he got sent to Siberia. I don't know. He falls into like a
Yeah, they
chest or
sent
something,
they
and
sent
then
him far away. I
Yeah.
forgot where.
And then the lady's like, oh, he was gonna enjoy the inheritance too because someone had to take care of the cats because he's an idiot.
Yep.
All right, another one.
Megan's gonna hate me for this one.
Oh,
Lilo
no.
and Stitch.
I mentioned that one
Honorable mention,
too.
Yeah.
Stop!
We're like
I
destroying
love
Megan's
that
love.
movie.
I love Lilo and Stitch. It's heartfelt. It's beautiful. I'm here for it.
It's my sister's favorite.
Message is absolutely gorgeous. I have Lilo and Stitch themed things
Oh yeah.
all over the place. I literally have a wallet that's Lilo and Stitch. My AirPods case is Lilo and Stitch. But with a lot of the movies I grew up with, they made me cut a little bit higher than Lilo and Stitch. So that one has to be switched to honorable
All
mention.
right. So we're gonna do number 10 then, right?
Okay.
Okay, we're moving to this is the list now. My number 10 is Hercules.
Well, it
Okay.
made the list.
It made the
Made the
list.
It
list.
made the list.
I
Made the list.
love Hercules. It does not get enough love. I think people sleep on that movie. I don't know. Even when you go to the parks, there's barely any merch for it.
Yes.
Though recently,
Yeah,
there's been a
recently
resurgence
I
of
did
it.
see merch last time I went to
Because I
Disney.
think the anniversary of it was around that, or I don't know. Lately, there's been a surge
Mm-hmm.
with merch at the parks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain why I like this movie and why it's my top 10, even though it's technically an underrated movie. The villain. Number one, like, the villain is one of the
The best.
Hades.
So funny.
Like,
Top tier.
just character design, the voice acting, and just the comedy that he brings. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
The music, I love the music. It's so catchy and stuff. The muses that elevates the whole, like, I guess like a weird gospel kind of like music.
Mhm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then the animation is so unique to like everything else that came before it.
That's true.
Like, it has
Yeah.
like a weird angular look. Like, the character designs are kind of weird, but in a good way. Like, I'm trying to, like, I don't know what art style they were trying to emulate, but
I
the
feel like
art style is very different from previous. Like, it's
Yeah.
just different.
I feel like they tried to emulate ancient Greek art
That's
style.
what I was
really.
thinking. They were trying to like ancient Greek paintings or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So it was very angular, and everything had like swirls and just
Mhm.
very. I love it. It's like, it's the best. Okay,
Nice.
who's
Wait, should we go like this?
Yeah.
yes?
Yeah.
go
All
ahead.
right. My 10th was Moana.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's low on your list.
It's low just because not every song I enjoyed, but I really enjoyed that it very much centered around the ocean, which is
Which is your favorite song in the movie?
How Far I'll Go.
Yeah, that's kind of
Fair.
everybody's.
Mhm.
Fair argument.
Yeah.
I have two standout ones. I would say, what's the name of the song?
How Far I'll Go. Or You're
Yeah.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yes,
those
that's
are
a
the
big
two.
one,
Those
too.
are the standout
Yes.
ones for me.
Pete
Though I feel
definitely
like
sings that all the time.
I feel like it's underrated song in that movie. It's the shiny one.
I don't like that song.
Really, I
Mm-mm.
thought it has like a weird David Bowie vibe.
It's
I-
iconic in a funny way.
Yeah,
But it's not
but
something
it's-
I'm gonna go out of my way to.
No.
It's not something I'd be like, oh, put it on the karaoke, let's sing it.
When
No.
people talk about Moana, people don't talk about that song. So
No.
I get it, but I like it because it's weird.
Yeah, like there were some moments of the movie that I was just like, okay, whatever. But then I like the whole premise of it being around the water, and then
Yeah,
her grandma turning into a stingray. I thought was so cool.
Mhm.
yeah,
So
that's a good choice.
yeah, I
I'm
really
just
like that
surprised it's
movie.
low on your list. Like, it's not a little bit higher.
Yeah, me too. But I think other things just appealed to my childhood more, and that's why they made it higher on the list.
All right, Johnny, what's your
Okay.
number 10?
My number 10 is Tarzan.
Good choice. I think
Oh.
the placing of that one is actually pretty accurate.
I like with Tarzan. I like the whole concept behind it. I thought it got very dark towards the end.
Oh,
with
definitely.
Clayton's death. They
Spoiler alert.
They hang him.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler
I mean,
alert! But
the movie's
if you
been
haven't
out for
seen it
what,
by
like
now,
30 years at this point?
yeah,
It's
if you
been
haven't
out
seen it by now, I don't
No,
know what
not
to tell you.
30. Like maybe like
25?
25-ish, yeah. Because I saw it in the movie theater. It was my first movie ever.
Really?
How old
Yeah.
were you?
Wow.
I don't remember.
It's close to 30 at this
Mm-mm.
point.
No,
It
because
came out in 99.
99. So then.
so then it's 24 years old.
24.
Oh, you were right.
Mhm.
By the way, I know the years of all these movies when they came out.
So I was 3.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. You want to know when a movie came out? Just do a
Ask
random one.
Jesse. There you go.
Just
Snow
ask
White.
me a random one.
Snow White.
The older ones are harder for me. I'm
I'm
gonna say 1937. Look that up.
I'll look it
I'm
up.
gonna say
I feel
1937.
like I feel like it'd be accurate.
I'm gonna say 1937.
1986 is my guess. It's a total lie.
What for Snow White?
1937.
Oh, I got it! I told you.
Wow.
I know all the dates of these.
I literally just made up a number.
You said 87.
87. That's like Little Mermaid.
I was alive during that time.
I know. It was a joke.
All right,
Um,
continue,
Okay.
Johnny.
But yes, with
Continue.
Tarzan, I really like the concept of how they went about showing him become interested in human nature because it was already a part of him, but he wanted to share what he grew up with the humans, with James specifically. So
I mean, it's based on. It's not a Disney creation. It's based
Right.
on an actual novel that's been around like hundreds of years at this point.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a good story. That's why it's been told so many times.
Mhm.
But my favorite version is the Disney version.
Oh,
Yes,
definitely.
of course,
It's the best.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have an opinion on the songs? They're pretty
Songs.
iconic.
Phil Collins went hard.
Phil Collins all the way.
I mean, he won an Oscar for it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
You'll be in
For
my heart
yes,
always,
that one's
bro.
the one he won an Oscar for.
You'll be in my heart always.
Don't cry, Johnny.
Yeah.
You're already crying.
Just and then
Um,
what was the other one he did?
Son of Man.
That was a
Son of
good-
Man.
They're all
That's not the one.
good.
That's
Don't
not the one.
copyright me,
One-
Disney.
One World, Two Families or
Yeah.
something like that. That was
Oh, the
another one that
opener
hit
and
home.
closer of that movie, like,
Yes.
hits hard. Like,
Soundtrack is good.
it's good. That's a good choice.
The one thing I don't agree with was the fact that Tarzan never had any facial hair whatsoever.
Oh,
I would say
And no
Three-
body hair
No
either.
body hair.
He was just
not all
sculpted.
guys have body hair.
But he's
I mean, if you're living with
Living
apes
in-
in the woods,
Gene-
the
okay.
likelihood.
If you have
But-
body hair, it's most okay.
I
Beard,
feel like
yes,
most men have
Beard,
body
well,
hair.
his
yes.
father had a beard.
Yeah,
that's true. It's a Disney movie.
it's a Disney movie.
Anyways, genetics is usually what gives a guy whether they're going to be hairy or not.
Mhm.
It's a genetic thing.
With those dreadlocks, he should have been hairy.
I guess. I don't know.
Even his legs were shaved.
So, oh my God. First of all, do you think the Disney animators are gonna like draw every single strain of hair
No,
on his
no,
leg?
but it's funny to
Maybe
think
now
about.
fabrics.
Well,
but
maybe if
I
it was
get-
like a CGI movie, they would have.
I get not doing it back then.
But it's funny to think about.
Oh, what do you think about the villain? Because I think that was like the weakest thing about it.
Clayton,
Yeah, I think it was pretty.
He
bland.
scared me.
he was.
It was
pretty
pretty
Though
scary.
his death is iconic.
His death is iconic.
I mean, he hung himself
He
pretty
was
much.
yes,
by
accidentally.
accidentally. Yeah.
But it was just everything
But he was blind.
fear
Like,
of being someone like.
but
me.
he's not in like the pantheon of like Disney villains. He's
No.
usually not the
no.
big
A
one.
lot of people don't even think of him when they think of Tarzan. Like
Yeah.
you think of Lion King, you think Scar.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you go to
Mufasa and Scar.
when you go to Magic Kingdom or like the theme parks, like he's not in the like Mount Rushmore of like
Mm-hmm.
No, he should
Disney
be.
villains.
Exactly. He's
He
not.
should?
The
I mean-
Oh. Well, no, never mind.
He just doesn't. He's just a dude with a gun.
that's really.
So
He's just a
what it is.
poacher.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
a poacher. So it's not. He doesn't have iconic lines. He doesn't have his own song.
I'm surprised they don't like put him in Animal Kingdom for like when they're
Like
always explaining,
walk-arounds?
or like when they're explaining things about like poachers. They don't like put
Yeah.
his picture like on a wanted sign or
Yeah.
something. You know.
All right,
They
let's
cut.
move on to number 9.
All right, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Princess and the Frog.
I do like them.
I love the I love the music in that movie, and I'm not okay. I like Splash Mountain, so I'm gonna talk about this controversy about the. I like Splash Mountain, but I'm okay with the retheme of Princess and the Frog because I think that's gonna be better. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna explain why I like this movie.
Okay.
The villain. The villain is like
Mhm.
icon status already because unlike Clayton,
Mm-hmm.
he's in the merch now.
Yeah,
like he's in the
sure.
parades. Like he has
He
an
has a
iconic
face character.
look. Yes, and he has an iconic look with the top hat and the skull, and he has a great villain song. Like he to me is the last good Disney villain we had in a while.
Okay.
Because I don't. Lately, it's been like, oh, like in Frozen, like, yes, technically Hans was the villain, but it was sort of like a twist villain. He wasn't like just straight up, I'm the villain of the story.
Yeah.
No,
He's not
Dr.
iconic
Facilier
in that matter. Yeah.
is I'm the villain of the story.
Mhm.
He is literally as soon as the movie starts, you know he's the villain.
Yeah.
He has a great villain song, and I also like the rest of the songs. They're just like catchy. It's like the one Disney soundtrack that every single like there's not like one slow like ballad every like maybe, but there's like the one with the Firefly, which is my least favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all just like it's like a bouncy tune, like it's just like people having a party kind of music if you were in New Orleans. Like
Yeah.
if I don't know, I love that movie for that. And it's the last 2D animated movie that Disney made, so also I wish they went back to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like the animation, the villain, and the songs. I think those are the great combination of things. All right, I think I'm done talking about that. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Atlantis.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually like that movie. And
I love that movie. That's why it's in my top 10.
Wow, that is such a deep cut, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I just remember as a child just being obsessed with Atlantis. I just wanted to be like the girl, Kita.
You're obsessed with ocean stuff, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
So something funny about that. That's also my number 9.
Oh,
that's my number 9. Atlantis.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Also, going back to how Hercules had a cool like character designs and stuff. I think Atlantis also has.
That's like the closest.
I don't know if you're aware of this artist called Mike Magnola.
Mike Magnola. It sounds familiar.
I might have butchered his name, but he's the creator of Hellboy. So have you heard of Hellboy? Megan's like, who the hell is Hellboy?
I've heard of Hellboy. Yeah.
Yes. You see, like he has a certain style of like the way the comic look. Like the fingers are all like.
Yeah.
The way he draws his fingers are all like squared for some reason. It's very jagged, angular look. That artist was a consultant on Atlantis, so the characters have that look. It has a comic book look.
Okay. Yes, I see.
Of that artist. Yes. So, and the animation's so good, and like, it's a good choice.
Yeah,
it wasn't in any of my lists.
I love the story too.
I feel like there's another one that's slightly better than that one, but it's also not in my top 10, but I'll mention it later.
He wants to talk.
You want to be part of the podcast, Appa?
Appa has an opinion.
He likes them all. Yeah. He likes every Disney movie. Okay, what's your...
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate more? Or?
I just think I liked Atlantis so much, especially when I was a kid, just because it was kind of like an oddball movie. Like, I think at the time, and then I think it's very underrated now. And I also liked how they kind of switched it up, that the girl was the adventurous one and the boy was kind of the book smart one, and I really appealed to that because I was like, I want to be adventurous too. Stop.
The dogs want to be part of the podcast, so if you hear dogs, they're not fighting, they're just playing. Disclaimer.
No dogs were harmed.
No animals were harmed during the making of this podcast. Yeah, that's a good choice. It wasn't on my list, but there's one that's slightly better than that one. But I'll mention it later because it's not on my list either. I had to make sacrifices. Okay, what's your number 9?
Well, mine was Atlantis.
The same thing.
Same.
That's how much I'm paying attention.
For me, for Atlantis, like Megan was saying, I think it's super underrated. Animation is absolutely gorgeous.
It
Yeah.
bombed in the box office.
It
It's why
did.
you don't see merch.
It-
you don't see
No,
like
you don't see anything.
No,
Nothing.
it was ahead
unless
of its
it's
time.
like
It was ahead of its time.
oh, the last time I saw merch for that was actually the last time I was at Disney,
Mhm.
and it was a Christmas ornament because they were celebrating its anniversary.
I feel like they're just bringing back underrated movie merch.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I
I
saw
feel like that's a theme.
the one I was going to mention was Treasure Planet, which is
Yeah, I've never
That's
seen
another one
it,
that's
so
underrated.
it didn't.
What?
Yeah,
Oh
so I can't put it
my
on
you
my
God.
need
list.
to watch it.
I
It's
know.
so good.
Well, now we need to make this
Another
happen.
movie that bombed.
It did.
Bombed even harder than Atlantis. Like
Once again, ahead of its time.
yes, it probably would have made money if they made it today.
Definitely.
You want to elaborate more on Atlantis?
I feel like that's pretty much it.
All right.
Number
So
8.
number 8.
What's your number 8?
Number 8 is Mulan.
Okay.
Not the live action. This
No.
is strictly animated
Animation.
because live action is pure doo doo. Like it's garbage. Mulan. I love it. The songs are catchy. The animation is good. Mushu is
Chef's kiss.
yes,
Mhm.
chef's
Mwah.
kiss. Just love it. Reflection. Come on, you can't get more iconic. Like I mean, yeah. You can't get more iconic with that song, even though she's technically not a princess, but they kind of put her in the princess
She's a
category.
princess.
It's
Oh,
her
yeah.
princess
Yeah,
I
she's a
want
princess.
song. You know,
Yeah.
almost princesses have the I want song.
Yeah.
That hers is iconic. I love it. I think it's one of the better I want songs because it's not about a boy. It's not about.
Yeah.
It's literally about her saving her dad's life
Yeah.
and not fitting in a society that wants her to be a certain way.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I love the message of the movie. Yeah, just like it's iconic, unlike the live action. I'm gonna keep
Also,
shitting on that damn movie.
songs in Mulan are also bomb.
Yes.
I'll make a man
pretty
out of
much
you.
all of them.
Yes, all of them are
100%.
so good.
I can't think of one that
A
I'd
girl
be like
worth fighting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it shows how dumb the dudes were, and
Yeah.
like at the time in that time period, because that's all they wanted from a woman. And then Mulan's like, "How about a girl who has a brain?" Don't copyright me, Disney. Yeah, that's my number 8.
Nice.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Tarzan.
Oh, wow.
Tarzan,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah. Made
I-
the list.
Made the list.
Phil Collins, and again, it was my first movie ever as a kid. So it hits the home.
It's one of the few Disney animated movies that doesn't have the main character sing at all.
Oh, you know what?
Ex-
You're right. I
Yeah.
didn't think of that.
I don't think any of
Let
them
me
sing.
clarify
No,
that because
No, actually
Turk.
no. In
Turk.
the
Turk kind of.
trash when they
Yeah.
trash the campsite, they sing.
Turk sings.
But that's
yeah,
really it.
Rosie O'Donnell did some singing.
She was probably my
Sort
favorite
of.
character in that movie, by the way.
Aw.
I love
Turk,
her.
yeah.
Yeah. She's
Best friend coming
so
through.
like.
Is this water sanitary? It looks questionable to me. Love that.
Yeah, that was a good quote.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great.
What's
Let's
your
move on
number
because we
8?
talked Tarzan a lot.
We did.
My number 8 is Bolt.
Really?
Wow.
A lot of people
Yes.
forget that movie exists.
Yes, they do.
It's not a bad movie.
That movie, like, it hits home for me. It is one of my favorite movies from childhood. Reminds me of my aunt's old dog who passed away, who like I grew up with for 16 years.
Hmm.
He was like my best friend for those 16 years, and he looks kind of like Bolt, like in his facial structure, and he was mostly white like him. I love the dynamic between Bolt, Mittens, and Rhino. Just
Rhino.
those three were great.
The hamster.
Yes, Rhino
Yeah.
the hamster. He was absolutely hilarious. And it was just so interesting how they portrayed the concept of like how animals really would see the world, because I read this thing recently where it's more so in cats that they don't grasp the concept that when you put them in one room and you close the door, that's it. Like that room is their world, and if you open that door, it's like, oh my god. So now if they walk out of that, they completely forget that that room is there, or they don't actually know or understand that, like, hey, one bedroom here is not the same bedroom that might be on the other side of the house. They think that if they walk into one bedroom, that they're going to walk into the same one. So when they walk into a different one, it's like, oh wow, how'd I end up here? This is like a whole new world for me. You know, like I totally just changed dimensions. And they put something like that in this movie with Bolt, where his world was the film set that he lived on. They did everything within their power to convince this dog that he was a superhero, a super dog with superpowers, and his one goal was to protect this girl that was his best friend. And even after finding out that was all a lie, all he wanted to do was get back to her. So that was like a movie that really hit home for me.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah.
I love the characters. The fact that Mittens was declawed, couldn't fend for herself, finds her family home at the end of it. Beautiful. Beautifully told.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not on my list, but I think the only. Okay, I'm gonna be negative here, just for a second.
You're gonna crush my dream.
Yes.
Okay.
I just feel like the movie was kind of paint by the numbers. Like, I kind of seen the story before, kind of thing.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know. It just, the character design, like, everything was just very, like, yes, this is a Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, not in, like, a very stereotypical way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't push the boundaries of it. Like, they didn't try to do, it was a very safe movie. And I think that's why people forget it kind of, like, exists. Because it's not as memorable as other stuff we just mentioned previously. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
But I just like it doesn't have that thing, like a villain or cool art design or a really good song. Or,
I feel like
it's a
good movie.
Yeah,
It's a
I feel
feel good movie.
But it's not like if you mention Bolt, maybe some people won't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It did.
Definitely.
It did decent at the box office. It's not like people didn't see it. I saw it in the theater because I've seen everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't have that it factor, that thing that kind of like becomes like a phenomenon. Like it doesn't have like the Frozen or the Moana or even Zootopia. It doesn't have that thing. But that's not a bad thing. It's just a more like smaller, quieter like film.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that makes total sense. It's like a standalone feel good.
Yeah. But it's not like Disney's like shoving that shit in your
I
like,
feel like
face.
the animation, not like having it computer animated, didn't help it in being more memorable.
You know what?
It kind of just blends
a
in
2D
with other movies.
in like maybe a Lilo and Stitch like style,
I feel like it would have stood
better.
out more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just had generic looking computer animation,
Exactly.
like basic. Like I've seen this a bazillion times before.
Agree.
But it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. It's not a bad movie.
The video game was also fun. I had it for PS2.
I didn't even know there was a video game.
And okay, so you actually played Bolt on
Was
the
Miley
set.
Cyrus in this movie?
Yes,
Yeah,
she voiced the
plays
girl.
the girl, right?
Yeah, she played the girl.
That's-
But yes, in the video game you play.
Oh, and John
as...
Travolta was the dog, right?
Was he?
Yes.
I thought he was Bolt.
I think he was.
I have
Yes.
no idea.
I honestly don't remember. I know he did a number, like a
I
musical.
totally
number
forgot that Miley
for the
Cyrus
credits.
was in a Disney movie like that. I mean, I know she was Hannah Montana, but
Yeah,
I didn't know
this
she
was
like.
way back when. This was when she was Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was Hannah Montana, and that's why she probably got
That's-
the role.
That's part of the reason
She's
why
already
it
in
did
the
so
Disney
well in box
Yeah.
office
box.
because it was.
I think it did decent, but it didn't like. It didn't make like.
Yeah.
It didn't bomb either.
But that was one of their selling points was that Miley Cyrus played Penny
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, she did a really, really good job.
She
She
did.
played her really well.
Hey,
Yeah.
Wanna
But yeah,
move on to number 7?
Yes.
let's do it.
Hey, number 7 is one you mentioned in your honorable mentions, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oof. Yeah. Deserves
Okay.
it though.
Yes.
Number 7. I'm gonna give you my reasons, and you can counter that if you want.
Okay.
There is no Disney movie more. There's maybe one other one that I can think of as dark and adult as The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Because the basic concept of that movie and what the themes they're dealing with are so adult for a Disney movie that I'm surprised that movie got a G rating.
Mm.
Yeah.
The fact that
There
it got
are
a
super
G
adult
rating,
themes.
that movie's like borderline PG-13.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Like-
sure.
The only reason it probably wouldn't have gotten a PG-13 is because they didn't use foul language and there wasn't like blood. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying those are like bad things to have in a movie. I'm just saying for a Disney movie, like, yeah, no. The music is so epic.
It is.
Yeah.
I
Like the
love music.
moment the movie starts and the chorus starts going, and they do the scene of like the cathedral, and
Mhm.
and then the whole narrative told in song, a very dark narrative, because at some point the villain of the story, Frollo, is gonna drown a baby in a well.
Yeah.
This is how dark this movie gets. People forget how dark the Hunchback gets. That he literally tries to drown a baby right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Kills a woman,
Yep.
his mom, on the doorstep of a church, and then the church pretty much like kind of like covers it up for him.
It shows
Like-
how hypocritical.
Yeah. And just the
Face
epic
is.
music they used and like the lighting and like everything about that. And then the Out There song is so good. Like,
It is. Yeah, I forgot about that song.
Hellfire slaps.
Yeah, that's the one
Oh
song
my
that I
God
God.
help the outcast.
Oh
Oh my God.
that song.
She-
Frollo
Nailed
is
that.
Yeah.
one of the most darkest, most sinister evil. Like, I don't think there's any, because like Dr. Facilier or Ursula or Scar, there's like a fun to it.
Right.
With Frollo, it's just straight up evil.
It's just
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to.
using God as an
Evil.
excuse.
There's nothing
Lust.
funny about this character.
Agreed.
There's nothing amusing. He plays it straight.
Mhm.
There's no like jokes and stuff like Ursula or Scar or even Jafar.
Mhm.
Like, he's just straight up villainous. Like, and yeah, the only negative and then why it's not higher on my list, because there's one problem I have with the movie:
Freaking
the gargoyles.
gargoyle.
If they would just get rid of the
I
gargoyles,
knew it.
Really?
yeah, the
They never
gargoyles.
bothered me.
Because
They're
I
just
feel
there.
the gargoyles,
they don't
shift-
have a purpose.
They don't have.
it has a tonal shift. It's like Whiplash. Like, we go from like going from like Hellfire, the most darkest Disney song
They're like,
of
shit.
all
Wait, we're
time.
Disney. We gotta do
And
something.
then the next song is
This
a guy
too
like,
dark.
and then the next song, A Guy Like You.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, this is like tonal whiplash.
Like their sole purpose.
When they
was
try to do-
make.
That's the weakest thing of the movie,
Yeah.
is when they try to make it funny.
Mm-hmm.
And if they would have just played it straight for the entire movie, it would be a better movie. It would
Yeah.
be higher on my list.
I agree with that 100%.
The gargoyles, and I get it, in the novel that it's based on, he technically did talk to the gargoyles, but it makes it unclear if it's like an illusion of his loneliness.
Mhm.
In the book, it's because he's lonely,
Yeah.
and that's the only things he talks
But
to.
Disney, it's really
and
like.
Disney kind of
You're
like know they're
alive.
alive. But it's also not clear if they're alive either, because the only time they come to life is when he's around.
True.
Yeah.
So it could still be in his head. It could be interpreted either way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ending is happy. I don't have a problem with the happy ending, because
Yeah,
the
He
original
did like
one.
the happy ending. But
literally-
he doesn't get the girl.
No.
No, but
So
the
it wasn't-
original one, everyone dies.
Oh.
Literally
A much
everyone.
happier ending.
Every Phoebus,
It was.
Esmeralda,
Yeah.
everyone is dead. The villain's dead. They die in horrible ways, and I'm glad they didn't go with that because I don't think
I
Disney
kind of want to
would.
read it now. See how
It's Victor Hugo, I think. Victor Hugo's the author.
Okay.
It's an old ass book. Okay,
Well,
what's your number 7?
Mulan.
Mulan.
Wow.
Oh, it's a little higher
Yeah.
than me.
A little higher. I just
Your reasons?
love the movie. I love the soundtrack. I feel like every song is definitely I don't skip it when it comes up on like Spotify or something.
Better than the live action.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying that until the cows come home.
Again, Mushu just was the perfect comic relief. As a kid, I just felt like I just watched it on repeat. So
People forget that was his first, Eddie Murphy's first voiceover work
oh,
oh wow.
before Donkey.
I didn't even know
And
that.
Shrek,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
you did great.
Wow, he did
Shrek is
amazing.
overrated. Controversial opinion.
Focusing on Disney.
I know we're not doing good. I don't know.
Yet.
Not yet. I have a weird love hate with DreamWorks. Sorry.
You're number 7.
What's your number 7?
My number 7 was Princess and the Frog.
Really? What's your reasons?
Well, I got to see Princess and the Frog opening night at this big theater. There was a whole showcase and everything that I was able to go to in New York City. And that was just really iconic. I think it was one of the last 2D animated Disney movies for a while.
It is no. It's
I think it
well,
is. Well, I don't know.
they
If they came
did.
up with any-
No, there was
Depends.
something else after it, but it didn't do well anyways. Which it was Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, that's right.
That was the last 2D.
Princessy, yes.
Yes.
Princess, yes, but 2D it was Winnie the Pooh was the last one.
I loved that they dove into the culture of New Orleans. I felt like that was something that hadn't really been done too much with animated movies in the past. I felt like it kind of paid tribute to them a little bit, even if it is fictional and animated. They definitely had the New Orleans influence.
Yeah. Another thing that I forgot to mention when I talked about that particular movie, I like the fact that she had a job.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Disney princess with a job.
Yeah.
We love a hardworking,
When you think
independent
about
woman. Yes.
when you think about all the Disney princesses, none of them had jobs.
Right.
Oh, but
She was the only one that was a working girl.
Yeah.
Like she had a
was
job.
hardworking, she was independent.
Yeah.
And she
was
truly
right.
became
She
a
was
princess at the end. 'Cause
Yeah.
She married a prince.
Yes.
And she was working her ass off. Like she was like
And
yeah.
she didn't need him.
Yeah, she didn't want
She
him.
didn't need him.
She was like,
No.
I got
That
this.
was like literally
And he knew it. He learned it by the end of it. He knew
Yeah.
my wife don't
She
need
doesn't
She's
need me.
independent.
Yeah.
She's an independent woman.
the music is so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh god, so good.
I love the villain
Mm-hmm.
and his song.
Dun,
He was
dun,
iconic.
Dun, 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 dun. Are you ready? Don't copyright me, Disney. Okay, we're moving to 6.
6.
Hey, can we put some lights up in here? I can't see anything.
Let me find it.
Thanks.
Oh,
That's better.
Wow.
Sorry, again, I'm almost legally blind at this point. Oh, that's better.
Even better.
And at last I see the light. Don't copyright me, Disney. Okay, my number 6 is a tie.
Oh.
Oh.
Controversial tie.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Because there's a lot of haters for this movie.
Spill the beans.
Frozen 1 and 2.
Wow.
Number 6.
On the sequel. I love
Yeah.
it.
I know a lot of people are annoyed because it's overplayed and all the songs, but I still enjoy it. I think it's a cute movie.
It was a cute movie. Not gonna lie, did not make my list.
Really?
Mm-mm.
That's fair.
I'm
That's
not really
fair.
a Frozen fan. Like I like.
I like
the
it.
characters,
I
but-
like most of Olaf's like antics. I do prefer Frozen 2 more because I feel like the story's a little bit more mature, and I also feel like the songs are a little bit better. They're not like I'm not gonna say the other ones get on my nerves, but they were. There's a little bit more sophistication with Frozen 2, but I like them both, and that's why I couldn't decide which one I wanted to put on there. I almost leaned more towards Frozen 2,
Yeah.
but
I think I like the second
but I
one.
like them both. So that was my cop out. I put them both on there.
Yeah, I like the second one.
That's
more
all I
than
can
the
say about
first.
that one because everyone knows Frozen.
Yep.
Let's move on to yours.
6 was Aladdin.
Really?
Yeah, I love
Oh,
Aladdin.
we'll come back to that one.
Little crush on Aladdin.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
he was
It's so good.
adventurous.
So
Had a
good.
genie. I love what's his name? Robin Williams, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was perfect.
Rest
Even the
in
live
peace.
Rest in
action
peace, Robin Williams.
just was awesome as well. But
As much as I like the live action movie, it was just missing the Robin Williams factor.
yeah, no, nothing can replace him.
I
And I,
mean,
feel
Will
like you
Smith
just
did
have
a
to get
decent-
that.
He did
Yeah,
a
through
good
Will
your head.
Smith did a decent
He did a
job,
good job.
but come on, Robin
Mhm.
Williams.
Yeah, but it's just a classic.
Like, if you tell me which version of A Friend Like Me do you want to listen to, I'm always gonna pick the Robin Williams
Mhm.
version.
Yep.
Like, I will. No offense to Will Smith, I will never pick the Will
Mhm.
Smith version over that one.
Yeah, but the best song, "A Whole New World," just has my heart.
100%.
Love it.
Aladdin's. I'll elaborate more on Aladdin because I'll save it.
my
So
number
six?
6. Tangled was my number 6.
Really?
Made my list.
Love Tangled.
Elaborate.
I loved how they just went about telling the whole story. It was just really, the plot was intricate and how she was slowly figuring herself out and what her glowing healing hair actually meant for the world and the people around her. Mother Gothel, love her as a villain.
Mhm.
She's a mom. She's a toxic
You know,
mom.
Definitely. Yes, it was very
I'm gonna say
relatable. Not to
that-
say mom evil, but no. It's definitely, if you have an overprotective mother, you understand.
I feel she's underrated
Yes, for
because
sure.
she's not in the Mount Rushmore of villains.
If you dive into Tangled the series, which I did,
Mm.
the story
It's really good. I've seen it.
it's really good.
Yeah,
Mother Gothel is so much more dark than you
Oh, wow.
anticipate.
the series is actually really good.
And you don't even get to see a lot of her. You just
The opening song of that show is amazing. I
Oh
love
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Moore.
But yes, I loved everything between Rapunzel and Eugene. I thought that
No, that
their
was
story
the
was
first-
just incredible.
That was the first animated or CG animated that felt like they put more emotion in their faces. It had more of
Mhm.
that squash and stretch thing that animation does.
Yeah.
Because before, what we had was like Pixar was a little bit like stiffer, less like more. I don't know how to describe it. Like more plasticky, like more like
Toy Story.
Yeah, like the original. Like I felt like this kind of blended in a little bit of that 2D aesthetic into a
Yeah.
3D model. I think Tangle was the first one to have that 2D
Mhm.
aesthetic on a 3D model.
And I also thought it was really interesting how they went about their symbolism and how they started playing around a lot more with lights and darks.
Mm-hmm.
And in the darker scenes, you messed around with lighting. It was much more darker until something came into the light.
Yeah.
Like when the audience found something out, so did they, and the light and
Such
the
an
background
artist
reflected
perspective.
that. Yes,
It is a
yes.
very artist perspective.
Commission me, no.
Yeah, the animation is really good in that
Mhm.
movie. The hair animation alone.
Also, of
Yeah.
course, Rapunzel is an artist. I gotta
Yeah.
close to my heart.
Oh yeah, when she was in the
Mhm.
tower. And the songs are pretty underrated, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
For
think
sure.
besides the obvious one, I See the Light. I don't think the other ones get a lot of play.
Oof. I play them all the time.
But you know,
When will my life
most
begin?
Yeah.
you like them, but I'm talking to like an
Mother
average
knows
person.
best.
Mother
Yes.
knows best.
That's a catchy one.
That's a catchy.
Are we gonna move on to
Yes.
the next one? Number 5, I have Zootopia.
Nice. Good choice.
Not in your list.
Not on my list.
Wow. I'm
Zootopia.
actually surprised by that.
At first glance, it looks like it's gonna be about a movie about animals. We've seen this before, and then the movie takes a left turn,
Mhm.
and it becomes way more deeper than advertised. Like, it literally is about prejudice, stereotypes, and how that affects society, and also about drug use.
Yep.
Because there's a whole drug lab in that movie.
Yeah, you're right.
They have these sheep literally in a drug lab
Mhm.
making drugs to make the carnivorous creatures like go crazy.
Yep. The blind leading the blind, man.
And the hero of our story, Judy Hopps,
Mm-hmm.
falls trapped to the prejudice and the stereotypes
Yes.
without knowing that she's falling into that she's doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And I like that they made her flawed.
Yeah.
They didn't make her
Yes.
like she cannot do any wrong kind of thing.
Yep.
The animation is so good. I don't know, and the world building, like the way the buildings look and how they made everything make sense in that world. And just the message of the movie. It was just took me by surprise how deep the movie was.
Mhm.
With the trailers and the merch, and it just looks like a generic like Disney movie, but then when you actually watch it, you're like, oh, this movie has something to say.
Mhm.
And yeah,
So does Appa. Appa also
Yeah.
has something to
he's a
say.
fan. He's a fan. Right, that's all I have to say about Zootopia.
Zootopia did not make my list because it just didn't give me the warm and fuzzies, and it's not something that I'd be like, "Hey, I'll watch that
I don't
again."
think the point of Zootopia was to give it. I think it was to make you feel uncomfortable a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why it did not make my list.
It's a lot of people don't like it because they think it's preachy, but
I mean, I like it that it's preachy. That it just doesn't make my top
I think
because
you
of
can
it.
be preachy, but as long as it's not like a giant sign, obviously, like if they can weave it into the story and make sense in the story, then I don't mind if a movie's preachy. But
Agree.
okay, you can move on to yours.
Number 5, Emperor's New Groove.
Wow, I
Cusco!
didn't think you were giving me that
Nice.
I
Very
love that
nice.
movie. It's just so funny and just a very repeatable movie. Like you could just watch it again and again with people and just have good laughs
Yeah.
at their jokes, and it just does. I don't know. It just doesn't get old
He's
to
supposed to be dead.
me.
I don't know.
Yep.
I can quote
And
that
it's so
movie all day.
it's so quotable. Everybody quotes it. And
Yeah.
again, the art style is just unique as
Oh
well.
my god, that one scene.
And the whole story is unique. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
really.
There's that one scene
Compares.
where he's like, he hit Cusco over the head. He put him in the bag, and he's like trying to like
Singing
dump
to
him.
himself.
And then there's these people walking by, and he's just on the wall like this. And he has,
And they're looking at him too.
and they're like, "What the hell is going on with this guy?" Just scenes like that, man. Or the breaking the fourth wall, where they like
Pause the movie.
pause the movie and like, "Hey, this movie's about me, not him."
Cusco's
Like,
just taking the
Oh my
burger.
god. Or my favorite quote in the entire movie. I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?
Yes.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Used
That
at work often.
I use that at work every day
Yes,
almost.
at least once a day he'll say it.
That's iconic. I've been turned into a cow. Can
Can
I
I
go
go
home?
home?
That should be a t-shirt somewhere.
My spinach
Disney,
puffs.
if you're listening, make a t-shirt that says that.
Yes,
I will buy it.
good
A
idea.
lot of people would buy it.
Uh,
What's your number 5,
what's
Johnny?
your number 5?
My number 5, Oliver and Company.
That is such a good
that
movie.
You know what's funny? I recently saw that because I was bored, and I was like, "What haven't I seen in a long time?"
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna age me, but I saw this movie when I was a kid in the theater.
Oh
I'm
no!
old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I was 5 maybe when I first saw it in the theaters. Yeah, I'm old. I'm
had it.
an
on
80s baby.
cassette tape when I was little.
I think I had a VHS of it.
Yeah.
It's a very 80s movie.
Mhm.
Like it's
Mhm.
like in
Yeah.
your face 80s. Like it's not. It was obviously made in the 80s because the songs are very 80s.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I did love the songs.
Oh, it's
I
so good. It's
love
Billy
the
Joel,
songs.
man.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Dodger?
Dodger. Yes.
Okay.
Why should what's the song called?
Why should I worry?
Yeah, that's Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's the best song.
Oh, come on. And then the first like shot of the movie, like when they go into New York, and then poor baby Oliver's left all by himself.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so heartbreaking. It's a good
Ginger
movie.
Kitten. And he fit right in with those dogs. He pulled his weight. He did not scrap around. He was ready.
That was a good
For it.
choice.
I also thought it got very dark. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, the villain is not super memorable, but he was pretty. He's like
He was intense. He was like a mob boss type.
that's when they were
type
still
guy.
allowing characters to smoke in movies
Yeah.
too, because they don't do that anymore.
And I felt bad for the poor guy that was taking care of all. He just wanted to.
Oh, the homeless guy.
Yeah, the homeless guy. He just wanted to take care of all of his animals.
Is he literally the only homeless guy in a Disney movie? Probably.
I don't think he's the only guy.
No,
He's
I guess
definitely the only one who,
Aladdin
like,
technically is
who
homeless.
was
Yeah.
like a main
Yes.
character.
Yeah,
He's
Aladdin's
one of the few.
technically homeless, sort of.
But
No way.
yes, one of my favorites growing up. I used to just love, especially the music. I used to love the music. I like the way it was animated. It was very old timey. The fact that it took place in New York, where I'm from.
Oh yeah.
So it was
Heartstrings.
always, yeah, something that hit close to home for me. So I always loved it.
All right.
Number 4.
Is that it for?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, I have Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
I know, out of left field, right?
What the hell?
I like the
I
song.
wish you guys could see Megan's face.
I like the
That was
song.
a great reaction.
Like, I like the songs.
Songs are very.
I did
iconic.
not see you as the Beauty and the Beast fan.
Neither did I.
No.
I think the songs are really good. They're so catchy.
Bestiality.
That's all I was thinking.
I need a parental advisory on this now.
I guess.
We just talked about bestiality.
No.
Thanks.
Oh, well.
No, only if they Google it. They need to.
It's fine.
It's up
No
to
one's
them.
listening.
Don't Google it, kids.
No one's listening.
No one's listening. Just have a
The 5
podcast.
people that
No
are
one's
listening, we apologize.
listening.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. Come on, be our guest.
Be Our Guest is iconic.
Be our
The
guest.
songs
It
are
is.
very
It's
I
iconic.
agree with
It
you.
is an iconic movie.
And then even like the one that was like deleted and then they put it back in the movie, Human Again, is really good. I don't know. I just like the songs. Now, okay, the story is not the most interesting, like compared to the other ones we mentioned, but the songs is what elevates that movie.
Yeah.
Literally without those songs, the movie would be trash. Can you imagine that movie with no songs?
I will give you Gaston's song and his just him as a villain is I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, Gaston is
Absolutely.
a very iconic
For me, he
villain.
made the movie. Like
Yes, Gaston is iconic. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a walk-around character all the time at Disney.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most popular walk-around characters at the parks.
Yeah.
Yep.
To the point
For
that there's
good-
some women that harass him.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I've seen
They get very
videos.
inappropriate
I'm
with
like, oh
him.
no.
Yeah, you're not. Don't do that to the cast members there. Don't touch
Mhm.
them. They don't like that. You'll be kicked out.
yeah, for sure.
I think that's all I could say about Beauty and the Beast. It's not a
Okay.
deep,
Yeah.
anything. I just like the songs.
Okay. That's fair.
It has a very Broadway show to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it works as like a Broadway musical.
Yes. Yes.
It's
it
the
does.
most Broadway
It
musical
does.
of all the movies we've mentioned.
That's true.
That's why it works so well on stage when they did it on stage.
I had actually back in 8th grade played Belle in a Beauty and the Beast play that my school was putting on, and they kept the songs almost exactly the same. There were a few extras, but for the most part, like the songs were it. They were the reason behind the plot and the choreography. They were helping to tell the story. So I agree with you there. Songs are very iconic.
Yes.
We can move on.
Number 4, mine was Tangled.
Mm-hmm.
Love that movie. Super relatable, at least for me.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I just love it.
Nice.
I love
Good
all the
voice
songs.
actors. I like all the voice acting.
The
in that
story,
movie.
the songs. I just love it. And
Yeah.
everything else we already
I know
talked
you guys
about.
like
Yeah.
Mother Gothel.
I love her as a villain. I
Mhm.
think she's
She just doesn't have the pizzazz as the other ones have. You know what I mean?
I'll give you that. But I feel like as
Well,
a girl
but she
with
serves-
an overprotective
No,
mother,
yes, she
it served.
serves her purpose well in the context
So-
of that movie,
Um,
and she does have a good song.
I'm assuming you're not gonna watch Tangled the series.
And I've never thought of it.
Okay.
It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it.
So
anytime.
I'm gonna spoil it. Huge spoiler alert. Turn away now for Tangled the series. But Mother Gothel, she actually has a daughter of her
Appa
own.
does not
What?
like Mother Gothel. Oh, really?
She
I don't
has-
remember this.
Yes.
I see
You
the
didn't
show.
watch. You didn't watch the whole thing through. There's no way you watched the whole thing.
I thought I did.
Cassandra. the
Oh, I
knight.
know about Cassandra.
So Cassandra plays Rapunzel's knight. First, she's her first-hand lady.
Mm-hmm.
While Rapunzel is taking her. What's the one thing? Taking her place as princess now.
Yeah.
This takes place after the movie. Eugene is chasing after Rapunzel, wanting to marry her,
Mhm.
and they're kind of just dating at this point. And so,
I keep hitting that thing.
Cassandra starts off as like the first lady of the princess, and so she hates her job because Rapunzel is so, oh my gosh, like I love everything, and Cass is like everything's horrible. She eventually becomes Rapunzel's knight, which is interesting because Cass's adoptive father and only parental figure in the show for a majority of it is the leader of the Knights Guard from, I think that's what he was. He was basically like one of the head honchos in control of all the knights. And we find out way later in the series that Mother Gothel abandoned Cassandra to kidnap Rapunzel. And the guard that was
Wow.
chasing after Rapunzel was the one who took Cassandra in. Mhm.
Wow.
I
So
need to rewatch this series.
it's a
'cause
That's so
I
crazy.
that's so
don't-
messed up.
And this is a series for kids?
This is a series for kids.
Shoot.
Cassandra, I remember my heart breaking. I
On
actually almost
Disney Channel.
cried. Yeah, I actually almost cried for Cassandra because you just see her. They give her a couple of solos as a kid in
Yeah.
the flashbacks, and she's waiting for her mom to come home, and her mother's always telling her that you got to be more perfect and you got to do this. And Mother Gothel never played with her, never gave her the care that she gave to Rapunzel,
Yeah.
and Cass was aware of that. And
Oh, gosh.
when they get older, that's what tears their friendship apart. She's like, my mother chose you because you had healing powers, and she abandoned me. And that is why I love Mother Gothel so much as a villain. That's like a
Yeah,
whole other level.
They really dove into it in the series.
whole other level.
I'm sad that it's not more popular.
Yeah,
It should have been a second movie, honestly, with
it
that
really
deep of a plot.
Should have, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but they would have rushed it as a movie.
Maybe.
Maybe
They would have had to
yeah, they took their
episodically
time
they
with
could
it
set it up.
as a
but-
show.
As a movie, they would just speed right through all the details.
That's true.
But I do highly recommend that show,
Mm.
even with the spoiler. But
What's your number 4?
my number 4 is Frozen.
I would have swore that would have been your number one.
Frozen, the first one, is like when I was in high school. That movie got me through some hard times. I related hardcore to Anna trying to connect with her sister because I was having a falling out with my best friend at the time, and she was basically the Elsa and I was the Anna, so it was a really weird factor, but I hyper fixated on that movie. I straight up watched it 13 times.
Wow.
The songs, I thought that they were so like catchy and iconic. I love the plot. I love the twist with Hans, and I also really loved how they focused on sisterly love.
Mhm.
And the saving grace behind something like that.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm not going to carry too much on about it because I know a lot of people think Frozen is overrated, but that's
Yeah,
one
I
of my
mentioned that
faves.
earlier.
Yeah.
but I put it in there anyways because I like it. Sue me.
All right. Now I
Um,
think we're on to our top 3.
Mm-hmm.
My 3 is one we mentioned earlier, Moana. I love Moana.
I wasn't expecting that.
I love Moana. I love the songs. I like the art. I like everything about it. the songs I'm gonna say something that you might get upset about. I think the
Okay.
songs are better than the Frozen ones.
Wow.
But that's just my personal opinion.
Stab me in my frozen heart,
Yes, I'm
broski.
sorry, but Moana songs are better.
Mhm.
I just
It's
love.
difficult.
I like the Hawaiian Polynesian aesthetic. I love that. I've always have. That's why I like Lilo and Stitch. That's why it's in my honorable mentions because I
Mhm.
like that culture.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Um,
culture.
I like the animation, especially the animation in the "You're Welcome" song, where they blended like 2D animated stuff in the background with the 3D.
Yeah, his tattoos.
And, yeah, and that song like really shows where the animation can go when they combine the two. And I don't know, it's great. I love it. I'm not going to elaborate that much because we already spoke about it. But my favorite song is "You're Welcome." That's my favorite song. Um, yeah, we can move on to your number 3.
My number
Megan.
3 is one that we've mentioned, Hercules.
Really? That
Yes.
high up?
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
you know, I was debating whether I should put Hercules higher
Oh,
up.
it's up there for me. Like the Greek, like it just got me into Greek mythology. Again, every single song
It's
is
just
perfect.
a fun movie.
Hades is iconic. His little minions, love it. For Pain and Panic, that's what their names are.
Also, I like
how they wear
like,
Hercules merch.
Yeah, I like how they throw in like modern stuff in there, like of like our times with the merch and like the commercials and him wearing this sandal sneakers and like
Yep.
oh my favorite scene is when Hades is like just frustrated because he's throwing everything at him and nothing works, and he's losing it.
Yep.
On I don't know which one, Pain or Panic. I don't know which one he was losing it at. Panic. He was gonna lose it on Panic, and Pain you hear in the background sipping.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, and then he turns around and he like looks at him. And and he gets so mad and like, I'm trying to get rid of this bozo, and you guys are wearing his merchandise. And I thought, oh god, that scene,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, there's so many good points.
Megara is so good.
Yeah.
I love.
She's a good character.
I love her as a character.
I like her design.
Yeah.
I like how she's just nonchalant.
Yes.
Fun fact.
What's he calling him?
Wonder Boy.
Yeah, Wonder Boy. It's being a real slice.
Fun fact about her: the voice actress for Meg is also Rose Quartz on Steven Universe. For those of you who don't know. Yes.
And if you want to go further back, there was a show called Animaniacs. And she was the voice of the cat, and there was a segment in Animaniacs. It was a cat, and I can't remember the cat's name or the dog's name, but it was like the musical part of the show because she would break into song in the show. It was about a stray dog and a stray cat who got into adventures, and she voiced the cat. And Rita, her name was Rita, and I can't remember the dog's name. But it was Animaniacs. It was during my time.
Johnny, what's your third?
My third is Zootopia.
Really?
It's high
I didn't
there.
think it was that high on your list.
I first and foremost love the animation. I also love.
Oh, it's so much better.
The dynamic between Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. I think they make one heck of a team.
It's better than Sing.
I don't like Sing.
The whole concept.
It just looks like a bargain bin Zootopia.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It looks like they tried to copy it.
It looks like a bargain bin Zootopia. Sorry.
Agreed.
No offense.
With Judy Hopps, I thought it was really interesting that they had her become this police officer, someone who was lower on the food chain, someone who wasn't seen as tough, and even she came out as flawed. Someone who you definitely would not have expected it from. And you took someone in authority who made that mistake and still saw the light, still saw her wrongdoings and tried to make it right. She tried to protect the people, and that was her biggest goal. Um, I thought it was pretty interesting making the main villain a lamb who worked on the inside. I think she was the secretary or the assistant to the mayor or something like that.
She
Yeah.
was like the assistant.
Gave whole new meaning to it's
Though,
an inside job.
As much as I liked her as the villain or the surprise villain,
Mhm.
I am getting kind of tired of that trope
Yeah.
in all the Disney movies.
Mhm.
That there's that the twist villain is already getting done to death.
Mhm.
It's almost in every recent animated movie. There's been the twist villain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They need to stop.
And then
Give it a break.
like Jesse mentioned before, the world building in that movie was
Yes.
phenomenal. Like
They're making a Zootopia in Shanghai Disneyland.
yes, yeah, I heard about that, and that's gonna do wonders. Just the fact that they had all these different environments for the different animals, that it gave it essentially took the place of culture in our world.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
interesting.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll move
that's all I
on
have
to number
say.
2.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Aladdin.
Yes.
I love Aladdin. I like the moment the movie starts, I love the movie. Like I love every single song in that movie is a banger. Like every single one. There's not one bad song in there. Even even when Jafar does a version of Prince Ali, even that one's iconic.
Mhm.
Like when
Yeah.
he's like mocking him and stuff. Like every song in this movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's not one I can listen through the entire soundtrack from start to finish.
Yep. I agree.
The animation, like you watch that movie now, and it's like it looks like they made it like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like the animation, because sometimes there's animation that ages. Like oh yeah, you can kind of
Yeah.
see that movie's old.
Yeah.
Not with
Not
Aladdin.
with Aladdin. Mhm.
Aladdin looks like it was made yesterday.
Mhm.
Like they could have made it now. Like
The sequels look older than the original.
well, they're direct
Yeah.
to videos.
Yeah.
They had a lower budget.
Yeah.
We don't
Sadly.
talk about those. Direct to videos are garbage.
Those were non-existent.
We pretend they don't exist. They don't exist. In my mind, they don't exist. There's only Aladdin. That's it.
I like
And
that.
come on, the genie.
Mhm.
I don't think anything has come close. There's been a couple like Mushu or like, but I don't think anything has come close to how good that character is. Even like Robin Williams was a factor in that, but just his look, everything about him, the animation, the way they used him, the way he uses like modern references, the impressions, just all the things that he can do physically. I don't think there's a character like that in any other. Like he's just there's Genie. Like not saying he carries the movie because Aladdin is also awesome, and I think Jasmine is a cool princess. But yeah, the Genie makes that movie for me. They wanna
They want
add-
to pitch in.
they want to pitch in. They have
I
opinions.
don't know.
The doggies have their opinions.
I'm debating
But yeah,
taking
Aladdin.
him out.
That's all I'm gonna say about Aladdin because it's a masterpiece.
Nice.
I love it. All right, you're number 2.
Little
Little Mermaid. I knew this was coming.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to be Ariel, and that's why
Okay.
she's my number 2.
So that's it. You're not gonna elaborate.
Megan
No.
is a literal mermaid.
She loves the ocean. She surfs. She's literally at the beach or at a water park like every weekend.
every weekend.
So
Yep.
it makes sense. She probably would have thrown Finding Nemo if it was a Disney movie, but it's Pixar.
Yeah. But no, I love the songs. Even the live action Little Mermaid just like made me just realize how much I love the movie even more. Like I love all the songs. I love Ursula as a villain. It's just
Ursula's a good villain.
Yeah.
she has
She's very
She's like-
and
iconic.
she's funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna be slightly negative for a minute. You can argue that.
Sure.
I just think of all the, I guess it was technically the late '80s that movie came out.
Yeah.
I just have problems. Like certain elements of that movie hasn't aged well.
As explain.
Her getting married at 16.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
I guess.
only problem because at least in Beauty and the Beast, yes, it's Stockholm Syndrome, the movie, but at least she was an adult.
True. Yeah, I
You gotta-
forgot she was
You
16.
also got to
But
take into account
And
the
Tiana-
time period it took place
Yes.
in.
true.
But it was the 80s. It was still wrong then.
But how old was the prince? I don't know.
He was an adult.
He had to be in his early 20s
But,
at least. At
Not
least.
not when it came out. When in the setting of the movie, what time?
No, I'm
period?
just on Prince Eric's age. Had to be in his early 20s at least.
Yeah. But you're saying it came out in the 80s.
And don't get me wrong, yeah, 89. It was at the tail end of the 80s.
But what was the setting of the movie? What was the time period
Oh.
of the movie?
Early,
Is what I'm trying to
early,
say.
yeah.
Because if that was like old,
Well,
tiny
technically it's
type
supposed
of-
to take place in France, but they were Caribbean. I don't know.
Undertones.
Yeah. The geography of The Little Mermaid's a little murky.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
But
little
I just
odd.
I love the whole mythical creature mermaid
Don't get me
comes
wrong,
on
the song is,
land. Love it.
Part of Your World is a really good song.
She could have been
It's a
16
very-
in fish years. You know.
Yeah. What if they age differently?
Part of Your World is a really good song, and Under the Sea, and this is
Unfortunate
yes, that
soul.
one's good too.
It's
I think
dang.
the weakest song, if I had to pick the weakest song, that I don't care for is Kiss the
Kiss the Girl.
Yeah, that to me is like the weakest.
Oh, I like that song.
Mine was
I
probably.
know you like
I
it,
like
but-
the song, especially because if you listen to it, there's this one fish
been on
that's
the ride?
no. Oh yes,
Yes.
but there's this one fish in the background that's really off key, and it's just makes the whole song for me because
Well,
as
Scuttle is
everybody's
off
like,
key.
yay! But that's
Scuttle was off key the whole time.
but there's also a fish too
Oh.
that's just like on his own jam in the background, and
What do you
it's just
prefer?
hilarious.
Do you prefer the live action or do you like the original?
Ooh,
Or do
that's
you like them both?
hard. I love them both, but I do I'm favoring currently, maybe because it just came out not too long ago, but I'm favoring the live action like songs
You
better.
shouldn't marry at 16 either.
Yeah. I'm favoring the live action songs more than the originals. I really like what she did with them.
Let's move on from Little Mermaid.
My number 2, Lion King. Yes. Scar is my all-time favorite villain of any and every Disney movie. I am excited that I heard that Disney's planning on releasing a movie just about Mufasa, so I know we're gonna get a history with
That
him
would
and
be
his brother.
lovely.
It's just the live action one is so bad.
No, live action was horrible. I don't. That's not real.
No.
Live action who? We don't know her. But the original Lion King, it's such a good classic. The songs are a bop. All the characters
I
are
agree.
amazing. Even their character designs.
That's
and-
true.
Which is insane to think about because they're just based off of animals, but they're still memorable in design.
The music.
Definitely.
Okay.
Simba
The
one.
music. The music itself is just so good, but
Mhm.
even I'm gonna elaborate a little bit because this is gonna pop up on my thing. But yeah, the music. There's not one bad song.
Mhm.
I think they're all good.
They're all good.
But elaborate
Um,
if you have more to elaborate.
favorite song, Be Prepared, from
Yes.
Scar. Love it, know it. I feel like it was probably the strongest song that was in there. My only thing that I'm like not crazy about in terms of The Lion King is Nala and Simba. I'm pretty sure we're technically cousins,
But that happens.
but it happens in
It
the
happens
lion
in the
world.
actual.
but
It
when
actually happens in the wild.
when you personify
But it's better not
animals,
It's better not to-
weird.
It's better not to think.
There's
about
lots
it.
of moments in Disney that it's better not to think
Yeah.
too
No,
deep
let's not
about
think
it.
about it.
about it.
I mean, it happens in the real
Mhm.
wildlife. So
Yeah.
but it's better not to think about.
Mm-hmm. But
Right.
that's all I have to.
My
say.
number one It's the one she just mentioned.
Lion King.
Lion King is my number one, and I'm
Nice.
gonna elaborate a little bit more on it because we've been talking a long time. Lion King, like every single song from the moment the movie opens,
Yeah,
Beautiful.
iconic.
and not just the songs, the score. The score is so powerful when you have the African like music in there, and then you have Hans Zimmer. I don't know if you know Hans Zimmer,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh for sure.
his scores are so good. But the scene where he goes, the end of the movie when he finally defeats Scar and he goes up onto Pride Rock and he's taking his rightful place in the throne.
Mhm.
That when that music starts to swell and he's slowly walking up the thing, there's no Disney movie that can top that.
No.
There's not one Disney movie that can top that. You know the music I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's walking slowly up the rock, and it's raining still, and that score is just blasting.
Mhm.
And then Mufasa says, "Remember who you are." Come on,
Mhm.
that scene is so
Very
freaking
iconic.
like.
Cannot be redone.
Yep.
No
When I
way.
listen to that music, like I get teary eyed. Like it's the only music that gets some kind of like emotional like thing out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I see this live on stage, I'll probably be tearing up somehow. I don't know. Lion King does it for me.
Did
Like
you
it-
see Lion King on Broadway?
No, I want
Oh
to.
my god.
I saw Aladdin.
I'm
Alright,
sure
you gotta-
new appreciation.
You gotta do it.
I'll be.
You gotta
I'll,
see
I'll,
it
I'll
in
be.
New York.
I'll
New
be-
York Broadway though.
I would be bawling like a baby then the whole time.
Yes. Listen, dude.
It's
I
the only
almost
Disney
cried.
movies that gets me emotional. I don't know what it is. It's like it just brings something out of me. Like I don't know. Lion King does that for me. It's just Lion King's the best.
It
I don't
is.
think there's anything that's ever topped it.
He's totally gonna hate my answer. For number
Mine
one,
too.
Go ahead.
Mine too. Actually, I feel like.
Okay, what's your number one?
Well, I feel like I wish I put Lion King on my list, but it did not.
It's
I-
not on your list
No.
at all.
It should have been,
Okay,
but
let's shut
actually,
this down. No, let's shut
looking.
this down. Let's go
He's
home.
done. He's going
It's
home.
over. This was a bad idea.
This is now the
Looking
Johnny
back,
and
I'm like,
Nick
damn,
podcast.
maybe it should have went on there, but whatever. My number one was, you're gonna hate it, Lilo and Stitch.
I don't hate it.
I love
I just
Lilo and
feel like
Stitch.
it's too high up on the list. I mean, it was my honorable.
I love it.
Okay, you have to elaborate. You got to give me a reason. Why is it so high up?
It has no song moments when you're like annoyed of Disney movies having a freaking song break of
But it
characters
has
singing.
songs.
It has songs, but no character busts into song. And I feel like I
That's
appreciate
true. Now 'cause
I
I
appreciate
just-
that in that movie.
I just mentioned earlier that Tarzan nobody sings,
Yeah.
and I said that was the only one that nobody sings. And now I remember that in Lilo and Stitch nobody sings either.
Yeah, but
It's
then
background music.
in Tarzan they did sing the
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Lilo and Stitch, nobody sings. It's not your typical princess prince movie. It's very unique. It's very much family oriented. I love that it's set in Hawaii. I like that they have things about Elvis in there. Like it just really set such a huge tone in my childhood that, like, again, I have so much merch of Lilo and Stitch. I have a freaking magnetic Stitch
I get
still
it.
hanging on my ceiling
You
fan.
got an emotional connection.
I have an emotional connection to
Just
it.
like I have an emotional connection to Lion King.
Yep.
You have it with Lilo and Stitch.
Yep. It's
I
just
get it.
it's just one of those things that I just grew up with and I was obsessed
I
with.
mean, I like that movie. I'm not a hater. I'm just surprised it's so high.
Yeah, it's very high on my list.
Yeah. I didn't. Well, a lot of people will probably be screaming at us that we didn't put any like classic.
Yeah.
How dare you not put like Jungle?
No.
Like
Where's
how
Snow
dare
White?
you not put like
Aurora.
Jungle Book or like? I mean, you did say 101 Dalmatians
I did.
and Aristocats, so
Yeah.
those are
That's my
considered.
honorable mention.
I was gonna put Jungle Book in here because the songs in that movie are really
Jungle Book is good and iconic, but it's like it's kind of like how Bolt is for other people. For me, it's just like a feel good movie.
good. The live action Jungle Book was really good.
Yeah, they
It's one of
Pretty
the
good job.
yeah. They did a good job with that one.
Shawnee, what's your number one?
Everyone's gonna hate me for this.
Oh no.
Okay, let's shut it
I
down.
feel like
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
over.
Frozen 2.
Oh my god! That's it. We're done. It's over. Let's just.
Frozen
Let's end
2
this.
is my number one, and I actually went back and forth between the first one and the second one.
Well, I'm glad it's the second one. That's the number one.
Frozen 2. No, just kidding.
Frozen 2. I just loved the route that they decided to go after the first movie. That they didn't focus on any particular villain. They focused on this main plot of Elsa finding herself and Anna finding her own way. The only thing I wasn't crazy about with Frozen 2 was Kristoff proposing to Anna. It was such a let me slap a band-aid on this moment and just get it over with type of thing. It's the end of the movie, let's make it happen.
Mm.
And I felt that Kristoff really deserved more of his own moments and his own time with Anna, and that was not fully delivered. But in regards to why Frozen 2 is my number one, music is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's one of the very few Disney movies where it's very Broadway-based music.
Yeah.
It is more Broadway
Yeah.
than the first one.
I did love Into the Unknown.
Into the Unknown.
Such a good
Come
It's a
on.
song.
big one.
The Kristoff song is so underrated.
That
I
one is underrated.
don't like that one.
Get
But
out.
it's
Get
It's
out.
hilarious.
You
I'm
don't
just-
like it?
And
I love
Olaf,
that one.
very relatable
Yes.
for me.
I've been
I
impaled.
do like Olaf.
Yes, I've been impaled. But his whole song in Frozen 2 was essentially everything's fine, and that's something I say often when
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through a crisis, and it's like we're gonna
Can
just
we
live in denial until everything's peaches and cream.
Can we agree that when they decide to do Frozen 3, which you know it's going to happen, that it's not about
I thought they were
Elsa
working
having
on
an
it.
existential crisis again?
Yeah,
It needs to be about Anna.
yes.
It
yeah, she
can't be
needs
about
own-
her again.
Her own.
She needs to be
Right.
going through something
Hmm.
and have Elsa be the one
Yeah.
helping her. Because if it's Elsa again having some mental breakdown,
Hmm.
we can't.
Powers!
Anna's like, no. Then Anna's like,
No,
oh
Anna
my
gets
god.
powers next.
No, it's like, no, and then Anna's like, here we go again.
Mhm.
I have to go save my sister.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that a third
Poor
time.
Anna.
Anna's like, she needs to go to therapy more than
Mhm.
Elsa at this point. No offense to
No
any
offense.
Elsa fans, but she needs to stop. Get therapy.
She's doing much better. She
In the second movie, I think she's in a better place.
yes, 100%.
But let's hope she doesn't go back to her old ways by the third movie.
Mhm.
Okay, continue.
But yeah, they went as far as to give a spoiler alert here, as though we haven't seen it already, but we all have. Let's be real.
What's Frozen you speak of?
They give Elsa a very similar demise to Anna from the first movie, where she actually freezes over in her own memory. And that was insane to me, the symbolism and the parallel between the two sisters, between the first and the second movie. Also, it was Anna's warmth and love for her sister that brought her back, even though it was from a distance.
Yeah.
In the first movie, you know, Elsa brings Anna back with the sisterly love that Anna was waiting for, that Anna was searching for. And in the second movie, Anna delivers that to Elsa as well, but it's a completely different perspective and a whole new meaning to it. And then with the ending, I just love that they kind of found themselves separately. They became their own independent characters,
Mm-hmm.
which was just really nice to see, a different change of pace. But yeah, I think that's all I. Oh, and the animation, of course, was amazing.
Yay, that was our list.
That was our list.
I hope you enjoyed what you heard. our 5 people who listen. And that's it. We're signing off. Bye.
Bye.